We begin on a reasonably peaceful October day. The members of the society have had a fairly relaxing time for the last 5 months, since the incident that nearly killed D'Angelo introduced Amos to everything, and generally I think was reasonably traumatic for most of those involved, especially anyone who saw the pit and knows that whatever is in that pit is still out there somewhere in London. But that was months ago. We haven't seen any slime monsters. We haven't been attacked by any serpent people. Things, as far as the society goes, have been peaceful. Before we reconvene the society, what have people been up to in the last 5 months? Anything of note? Anything in particular they would like to mention?
Just been regular life. Go ahead.
John?
Just resting.
Yeah. Just back to regular life. Trying to get catch up on the library work. Been gone to the side while we investigated other things.
Peaceful time in the library. What about you, D'Angelo? What have you been up to after your brush with death?
I've been resting on a ranch, watching birds, living a peaceful and happy life.
And lovely peaceful time in the countryside, because nothing terrible ever happens in the countryside. Mortimer, Dr. Davenport, how have you been faring these last 5 months?
He's been relaxing, just throwing himself into his work, helping the Delaney's a little bit every a day, a week or something like that, and carrying on at normal at the hospital, trying to push the limits of medical knowledge to the top tiers of serpent person knowledge. Oh.
Excellent. That sounds very safe. How about Amos? What have you been up to in the world of accountancy?
Well, you see, Amos has been working hard by most people's standards, but for him, he's taken a great degree of time off. And Gregory is actually picking up a lot of the slack and responding well to the new trust that I have in him. You know, he's becoming great. He's not great, but he's becoming great. And I'm finally getting more than 5 hours of sleep. So it's been good for the spirit of Amos.
Wonderful. And last but not least, Maximilian, Mr. Johnson.
Well, Maximilian has noticed how fragile his psyche is gotten, and therefore tried to pull himself into the areas where he's feeling secure, basically hunting, going on different hunts with different friends of acquaintances. And while it's been, successful hunting, it seemed to not relax him as much as it used to.
That seems reasonable given your brushes with dangers in the world of hunting and beasts recently. But yeah, it's been a fairly peaceful few months, but it is always good to keep in touch with each other. And how much have each of you been keeping in touch with the society? Have you been there often, or sort of keeping away for a while, keeping your head away in your own stuff?
I'd say I'd be jumping in at least once or twice a week just to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think Mortimer would have been popping in maybe a Friday evening or a Saturday evening to just catch up with everyone, see how everything's going, and making sure all the place hasn't burnt down.
Hello left, and has not received any letters or responded to any letters. Gone. It was gone.
I would probably have work to do, like for the LES's books and whatnot, but I always find something else to do in their place and just keep kicking that down the line until I finally have nothing else to do. So that's probably where he's, unfortunately, his mind left to go work. He's sad.
Well, Max would have, occasionally popped in on like a meal and a couple of small talks. Checking up in between hunting trips. There would have been plenty of, contact.
Okay. So, Mixer, you've been keeping a good deal of contact, but yeah, D'Angelo, you have been keeping your distance. You've been trying to stay out of the society nonsense, trying to mend your mind and your body. And yet, there's that thread of curiosity, that search for knowledge that's always going to bring you back there. Because you have a question you need answering, you have information you need to find on a certain Black Pharaoh. And you have searched the libraries of London, you have searched bookshops, the records halls. You know that there's one place where those answers might yet be found. And as much as you don't want to, as much as you know that it will probably lead to your death or other truly horrible things that you can't imagine, you find yourself drawn back to the London Esoteric Society on a Friday evening as the others are gathered around for either a catch-up or a begrudging update on accountancy matters. The five of you find yourself back at the society once more. As you sat around, sorry. No.
That's okay. I was
As
just
you sat around the dining table, it's a dark October evening. Outside, the lamps have been lit. Inside, I don't know if we've introduced electricity into the London Esoteric Society yet. That's quite a big refit. You don't have to talk to your accountant about that. Currently, we're on gas lamps, but yeah, this time we moved on to that more newfangled lighting. But yeah, it is a dark and cold night. The rain is sleeting down. It's taken a while for this storm to reach all the way down to London, but it's been a pretty terrible week for the weather. They've been reported of some awful storms further north. Trees down, train lines blocked, all sorts of trouble. But hopefully the weather will clear soon. Yes, the five of you are gathered together. Elsie and Miss Plum had taken a perhaps ill-timed trip to the seaside, on which you were not, unfortunately, invited.
Not the best time of year for a trip to the beach, to be fair.
It's not likely not to be crowded.
That's a positive way of saying that they'll be the only people at an unpleasant place. Can we talk about
You all
something?
have been well?
Yes.
Yeah. Being well, just working at the hospital, not keeping out of strange things. Just business as normal.
You mean the Snake Hospital?
No, I work at the St. Thomas Hospital.
Good. Snakes. Snakes not good. Yeah.
Just normal hospital things, patching people up.
Good, very good. What about you, Maximilian? How have you been?
Try to relax a bit, but still nightmares.
Yeah. I suppose that's a constant in this world that we now live in.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of things we'd rather not know about shouldn't exist, do.
You know, just the day-to-day work at the library is getting a little boring. I hope something exciting comes up.
No! Absolutely not. No.
No, don't tempt fate.
Well, I'm not tempting it, just but you know, I mean, books and
Excuse me,
books.
sirs.
Yes,
Sorry to
Yes?
disturb your conversation. James leans his way around the door.
yes, James.
Sorry to interrupt. There is a police officer at the door.
you
Asking
did
to see
come.
you.
As in the royal you or all of us?
Well, invite
the
him in.
collective, the plural you.
Well, looks like John's got his wish. Something interesting to keep him busy for a bit. The rest of us can finish our food.
Okay, I'll go see him.
I'm going to join you, Mr. Greaves. And that way I might stop you, or you wish for something else horrible to happen.
Oh, what could it be?
No.
So, someone just lost something. They think, or maybe they heard banging in the night or something. Who knows? Let's just go see.
Oh goodness. You do the talking, I'll do the walking.
Okay. So you head up to the front door. You see standing just inside the hall, dripping puddles of water onto the front mat, is a very bedraggled looking police officer.
Good evening,
young
officer.
looking one.
What can we do for
Not one you've seen before. Oh, thank you, sir. Inspector Thorne sent me over. A letter. He pulls a slightly damp-looking letter out of his pocket.
Is the ink running? I mean, is it still?
Really, you
we
just
can
make
read it.
out 18 on the front, where the ink has run.
Would you like to come in, have warm yourself up, have some tea?
Sit by the fire for a bit.
That would be much appreciated, sir. I'm supposed to take a reply back to him, let him know if it's a matter of interest to you.
All right. Well, then come in, get warm while we read it and discuss it amongst ourselves.
Yes. Keeper, can I do a spot hidden check on him?
Yes, you can. Give me a roll. What are you looking for? Anything particular here? Just.
I'm looking for
general-
scales. I'm scared of snakes.
You don't see any scales. But, I mean, he's wearing a coat. He's got a scarf around his neck.
Still,
Right,
my due diligence. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Keeper.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you say your name was again,
He
son?
doesn't smell of snake either.
Could be a
That's
snake in a coat.
A coated snake. Devious. I don't say that out loud.
Constable Swain, sir.
Constable Swain. Yes. Come, take your coat off. Stand by the fire.
Yes, he takes his coat off, steps up to the fire, shivering slightly.
I suppose. Are we all in the same room with him, or is he in the parlor?
If you want to take him into the room with everyone else is, you can do. Or if you want to put him in a different room, you can do.
I just want to get everyone else's reaction when we open the letter and read it out loud to everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'll wander over to see what's going on, so we could all meet in the parlor.
Okay.
It'd be a sensible
We'll
place.
join the doctor.
Just curious, really.
So look at the letter and open it up.
Open up the letter. You see, it says, write this down. Of course I didn't write this down. To the members of the London Esoteric Society.
Good start.
An issue has arisen that I believe may fall within your purview.
See, nothing wrong. Yes.
I'm going to hit you in a moment. No, I'm not going to hit you. I like you. Continue reading.
There are reports of multiple unusual deaths near the town of Ashby in the Midlands.
John?
Local police officers are claiming reports of a dragon. Whilst I do not believe there is a dragon involved, I do wonder if something in your line of work may have occurred.
It started out
Would
nice.
it be
Didn't it?
possible for you to journey there and investigate?
Started,
At Scotland Yard would be very grateful. Yours, Inspector Thorne.
see, it started off really nice, Amos. Then you got worried about it, and it went right off the chain.
No, John, allow me to make myself painfully clear. No, that's all I need to make painfully clear. No. Now, let's just be honest. We're gonna go there,
Oh yeah, sounds like a lovely day trip.
and there's gonna be something horrible there.
We've seen worse.
Okay? I've learned to anticipate the worst, so I am not anticipating one dragon, I'm anticipating 2 dragons. And no, I don't think we've seen anything worse than 2 dragons.
Well, these are rational policemen who sent this letter. Do you think they would, underestimate the number of dragons? I mean, surely there's
Don.
only one.
Come here.
But
Come here.
What?
Follow me, please, if you
I
would.
mean, it might just be a Komodo dragon.
yeah, it could be.
Maximilian, Mortimer, D'Angelo, would you also follow me, please? Just
Sure.
humor me, please.
Okay.
As
Kiefer,
you-
I am going to lead us to that painting of Maddie.
Painting of Maddie. Which
So there was that painting of Maddie that when the train lady, as I call her, she took that specific visage of Maddie,
yes, yes.
and that
There is
that very
Yeah.
particular painting where she wore the same clothes.
I
I'm sure there's
thought- Was that painting at D'Angelo's? Was it like
I would say that this is just this is not a painting paint. This is not one of any of Miles's like special paintings. This is just a painting.
That's a portrait of her. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
See this one right here?
This is why I was just clarifying what paintings, because
Right.
we
No,
have
no, I
some
get it. I get it.
suspicious paintings.
Yes, and I've actually been attacked by 3/4 of them. Strangely enough, it's time-honored tradition. You see this one? Oh, I did it. And you see this painting right here? This particular painting right here. This one.
his portrait?
Mhm.
That's
Yes,
It's a very nice
lovely.
painting.
It haunts my memories because that is the exact visage that that haunted train lady or goddess or whatever the bluest of blue hells that she was happened to be. So when you were a normal person like me and then you wind up in an abnormal situation like this, and then somebody who's not the person who I'm not making sense. I'm sorry, I'm losing my grip. I'll put it this way. After that moment, when I saw this person who's not actually this person on a train, and that person, Maddie, is dead, I do not have much optimism left
But
for things
obviously,
to go right.
But look at the painting. It's obviously not a dragon.
This is true, John.
So everything's fine.
But I will be dragging your ass down the stairs and out the door if you keep sassing me. That was a pun, John. And I will punish you with more of them if you keep sassing me. Now, thank you for humoring me, but I'm just saying, I'm already horrified.
Well, aren't you curious? I mean, what it might be? I mean, we can go and tell them, oh, it's nothing to worry about. And there
I
might
am
be some
curious.
excitement.
I am curious about what it might be. That also horrifies me. See, I don't have the ability to not go on these adventures. There's something about it that hooked me. And I don't know why. I'm just a normal man. I understand
Off
why.
chance,
Yes.
the off chance that this turns out to be something easily explainable, I would suggest taking the time to review common critters or beasts of the region.
and cross-reference them with folklore. So if they saw like a large, I don't know, a beast of some kind, and they thought that it was a dragon, that might make sense. Relating fact
Very
with
true.
urban legends.
Definitely true. So,
What say you, Maximilian?
Potentially, might be possible. I'm not aware of any creatures that could be that live on the British Isles that could potentially be mistaken for a dragon. But somebody might have imported something from somewhere.
Right. That's how we got the great raccoon problem of London. The imports. They've just been running wild. It's a terrible thing.
Let's
So-
go.
it's agreed that we're going to investigate it, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I think we should. Let's go talk to the constable and see if he has any more information about more.
Well, Constable, it looks like we'll be sending our two finest people to investigate this, John here and Amos.
Oh no, we're all going, Constable. No, this doctor is a real jokester.
Oh, good.
Do you have any more specific information about where we should head, other than just Ashby, or was there any particular location or manor house?
Yes, I've got the full details came in from a local police officer, a fellow by the name of Sidney Johnston. Sounded a bit out of his depth. Was asking for our help in investigating what he thought might have been murders, but also his letter was a little bit rambling and talked about a priest and a dragon and Thorn burning down a manor house, and so someone gave it to my boss Thorn, saying that this is his problem, and
Sounds
understood.
about right.
he sent me to get you because he said
It's
this
now
seemed
our
like
problem.
an LES problem. He says that he said, look, I think his exact words were either this is local farmers gone insane, in which case it's not our problem, or it's one of those esoteric things, in which case it's also not our problem. Take this letter over to Grosvenor Square.
That does
I mean, it's
sound
not
like
in London. It's outside of our jurisdiction.
I'm sure a nice trip in the country will be fine.
Be very relaxing.
But yeah, the actual case was look, from what I gathered from the slightly rambling report that Sidney Johnson sent to us, there's at least like 6 people dead.
6.
A house has been burnt down.
Surprised we didn't see any more of that in the news, even here in London. But still,
Happened in
imagine.
the country. Like I think there was a bit on page. If you saw page 4 of the Telegraph the other week, there was a bit on the death of Mr. Vernon Underwood. He was the gentleman that owned the house. Still trying to work out who the other dead people are, I think. Look, from what I gather, it sounds like it was a bit of a mess, and the rural police are not really equipped for dealing with it.
Yeah, I think I remember this story in the paper. There's something about the peach cobbler, which was a bit strange.
No, yes, I think you're thinking. No, that was the one on the other page about the new bakery. No, different story.
Wait, was that about the Great Scone murders? Told you, those are evil foods.
But yes, yeah. Drakesfell Manor, just outside of Ashby. That's where this all went down.
Wait, Drakesfell, you said?
Drakesfell.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what it's apparently called in the paperwork we have. A bit of confusion. Some of the locals seem to be just calling it like Green Hill Manor. I don't know if someone renamed it at some point.
A dragon in Drakesfell.
Yeah.
I mean, that at least sounds like nothing. So we should probably just go there, check it out, and then come back and then
Yeah,
do the day trip.
Give me a moment. I was gonna do some of the bookwork for the LAS, but I have some history books back at my shop. I might do a little bit of folklore digging if that's okay.
I think
Before
it'd
we
be
head
a good
off.
idea. We'll look into it anyhow. We'll
Okay.
look into local legends, myths, and things like that before we go, and then we'll travel there and have a look.
D'Angelo, would you care to assist me with my historical references? If
course.
you're welcome.
Constable, tell Thor that we will look into it.
Good. Excellent news. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for.
Is the weather still pretty bad at the moment?
It's still raining. Yes.
Would you like it to take a coach back?
Oh no. I wouldn't trouble you for that. So it's not too far back. No bother at all. I'd best be getting on. Anyway, thank you. He seems in somewhat of a hurry to get out the door.
Yeah.
Does he seem a little worried about being here with us, or is it something else?
You can give me a psychology roll if you'd like.
Can we all do that?
Why not?
I'd say a couple of you. First two to get there.
I'll just.
Yeah, both of you get the impression that just this entire house and you are making him nervous. You don't know what stories have been circulating about the London Esoteric Society and what happens to people who get involved with them, but you get the impression that you as a collective are making this man quite nervous.
All right. Well, thank you for coming by.
No, thank you, sir.
To be fair, Amos has probably been sniffing him and staring at him, so.
He hurries off into the night.
I can see that we have a bit of a reputation. Well, I am going to go back and check my books. John, I'm sure you'll go to the library. Anyone can. I have a lot of history books because I'm a lonely old man, actually. But yes. Whoever wants to join me may join.
I think I'll check the library here in case there's anything about those legends and stories to do with that sort of thing.
I will accompany you, Mr. Thompson.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? And could we take the cab? Is that okay?
By all means. I mean, it's not weather for walking.
Thank you. I just got over that sickness, you know.
Well, I wouldn't mind dropping me off at the King's College Library on your way. I'd like to look at some of our reference material.
Oh, that would be splendid. Would you like to pop in and check mine?
Certainly.
It's a lovely flat I have, and it's on top of my business. It's nice to have some company.
Certainly, then we can look into how you live your life when you're not with us.
I do a lot of math. Maximilian, would you like to? I mean, truly, all of you are welcome.
I mean, I don't think I'm a particularly big help, but I can, accompany you for the social aspect of the whole thing.
You'd all be able to tell that Amos is trying to hide it, but he's so pleased to have company over. Very good, very good, very good. And on our way we go. Whenever you're ready, of course.
What time of day is it?
I think it was evening, afternoon. Probably about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, so we have time. Then sure.
So yes, you're going to take trips, visit Amos. Who of you is going to Amos again? Is it all of you, or not all of you?
I think Mortimer's staying at the Society to check the library there for information.
Okay, those of you who are going to check libraries, make me a library use roll. Those of you who are trying to use any other kind of skill to recall information, be it occult, historical, or other, make me that roll of your choice.
I can get an extreme success if that would make a difference.
Not in this circumstance. So, Mortimer, you're digging through the library at the Society. John, which library are you perusing again?
Well, I think we were going over to Amos's first, but
Yeah.
I did also want to go to King's College. But that can wait.
Okay. And then D'Angelo is going on his memory of the occult, which is all of the occult. Like, it is impossible to know more. Like, it is impossible to know more about the occult than D'Angelo.
Mastered the occult.
So, we shall start. We also had success apart from Amos. The name on Roll20 led me astray. The ghost of Ignatius looms large.
Don't bring him
Amos,
back, Keeper. Don't bring him back.
who doesn't remember much about this in particular. D'Angelo, you've written about myths and legends and the occult. One thing you know that Leicestershire's not particularly a dragon-heavy area in terms of myth. Like, every part of the country has some sort of same tales of dragons sleeping beneath hills, people weighing like small dragons down wells and then growing up into great serpents. But Leicester doesn't have many like specific ones. One of the sort of main myths you would know from the Leicester area is a legend of something called Black Anis, who is a hag with iron claws who eats children and dwells in the woods. But decidedly not a dragon. Let's see, occult. You remember actually, I'm gonna say with a hard success, you do remember coming across Drakesfell in your reading, because the name caught your attention for a moment, so you had done a little reading on it in the past, and it turns out to be a very recently renaming and have sort of no basis in local folklore. Like, it's not that it's been known as Drakesfell. Someone bought the manor and renamed it.
I will share that information.
Okay, with the library use, working my way up. John, digging around through Amos's own libraries, were you looking for any topics in particular?
Just the history of Ashby, the area, if there's ever been any sort of unusual animals that might have gotten confused for it.
So you'd get the same thing that D'Angelo got about the fact that Drakesfell Manor is a recent renaming. It was originally Greenhill Manor. It's been renamed within the last decade under new ownership.
By Mr. Underwood?
Yeah, Mr. Underwood gave it a new name. One thing you would know sort of historically of the area is the heraldry and the crest of Leicester, which is supported by two green wervens. So sort of werven and dragon heraldry occurs quite a lot around Leicester, but seemingly not from any particular legend of the Leicester area. It was the personal crest of a lord who was given those lands. But, it's heraldry. Dragons are everywhere. Dragons, wervens. If you can't stick a dragon or a werven on it, what's the point of doing heraldry? So, yes. Mortimer in the Society's library. Were you looking for anything in particular?
I think he was looking for anything about myths and legends of that area and anything related to dragon or creatures similar to dragons, the stories to do with them, but predominantly that area. The stories of the estate was mentioned.
So you would get the same sort of story about black anise that D'Angelo recalled about this hag in the wood with claws of iron. You would also find sort of, there's no specific dragon legends to that area or that hill, but there is a general sort of, in public's mindset, an association with dragons in Leicestershire just due to the fact that they're in the crest. But there don't seem to be any specific legends that tie to that, if that makes sense.
That it does. Unfortunately, I don't think Mortimer's own special books have anything to do with dragons.
No, I mean, one thing that both you and D'Angelo and John would know, that according to all your readings, there are no such thing as dragons. Like,
Exactly.
they are folkloric creatures, not mythos creatures.
That should be okay. Just people making up silly stories.
I mean, there's always the chance, the kernel of truth in something, right? There's these bones that people find in the earth that are then dragon bones. Maybe there's some mythos creature behind a dragon as well. Might not be called a dragon, but somebody that doesn't know.
True. But,
Not that I would know better, but
I think Mortimer will just carry on browsing the library whilst he waits for everyone else to get back, because they've all gone travelling.
Okay. Yes, everyone is oh, well, Amos, you're hosting some people at your upstairs flat. Anything of note that they'd see as they come in? Anything that stands out in your own demise?
I have a huge personal collection of history books, enough to probably be called a small library. I have a lot off in the corner. I have some. They would probably see like a handful of books that I've been working on about like best practices for accounting, theory of accounting, things like that. There's a good degree of philosophy books that have been well worn, but they would probably see a lot of pictures and family mementos as well, especially of my wife and my kids, and it'd be quite clear that he's a very sentimental man. On the second floor. The first floor would be the just general accounting, business.
Interesting home, Mr. Thompson.
Quite a nice place you have.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping one day I could give it to my son, but he didn't much care for me, quite frankly. Doesn't to this day, actually.
There's always time for reconciliation.
How do I? He blames me for his mother's death. So it's the last time I tried to help him, a problem that he was in. I think can't remember if he threatened to shoot me or stab me. Was not a fun conversation. My daughter, she gets along well with me. She married a businessman, and he's doing well now. No matter what, my children will be taken care of financially. And that brings me enough about me. I'm so very boring. There's all kinds of books and things to read. I have a chessboard over there. Plenty of food. Help yourself. I actually used to like to throw parties in a different aspect of different time of my life. I just work so much now. It's hard to find the time. Sorry about that.
If you do not mind, I have not played a game of chess in quite a few years. Would you indulge me, Miss Thompson?
Why, yes. What side of the board would you like?
It matters not to me.
Okay. Tell you what. I just flip a coin and decide it randomly. And the chessboard is very nice. It's probably pieces are probably marble, ivory, and obsidian board. It's clearly something that he likes a whole lot. You can tell how happy he is. I haven't had a chance to use this opener in years. I'm a competitive sort of guy. And he moves out a piece. Your move, my good sir.
Okay, in the lack of an actual specific chess playing skill, I'm going to ask for a contested intelligence roll between our two chess champions here. Okay, so Amos, you're playing well.
D'Angelo would like to lose on purpose, but just
Oh.
make the game continue for a long enough time. If
Yes.
possible, Keeper.
I'm going to say with an extreme success, yes. You can leave just enough openings that Amos, who is playing well, can take them. Like, if he failed, I would say it'd be a real struggle to actively lose the game, because, he'd be... But he's playing well enough that he is taking a few openings that you're giving him. Unless he is also trying to deliberately lose, in which case we're going to be here forever.
No, but he might want to. He might suspect that this sort of thing could happen.
Give me a psychology roll, Amos. Let's see if you can suss out.
Hard success.
And I'm going to say, D'Angelo, if you're trying to hide what you're doing from him, I'm going to ask for essentially a psychology. This is going to be another competitor. Like, can you see through this master of minds and manipulation? I will say in this case a hard yes. You do. It takes you a while to really be sure of it, because he's good and he's subtle. But you're fairly sure that D'Angelo is letting you win.
Oh, now, Mr. Williams. That piece that you moved there, and the move before that, from there to there to there. You don't have to let an old man win.
I would not be so assured. I have not played in quite a while. I have grown rusty, as they say.
Mr. Williams, I like you a lot, and you would hurt me if you were taking pity on me. There is no mercy in chess. We will play again another day, but if it makes you feel better, before you were throwing it, I just happened to set up a trap you hadn't seen, that's all. You were mine all along, my good friend. And you can see the way that Amos is smiling. He wasn't setting up shit. He was like, "Oh fuck, I was cooked. I'll just have to have you over someday, and we'll get a couple games in." John, Mr. Greaves, did you like a game, or I hope my collection of books isn't disappointing to
It's not at all
librarians such as
disappointing.
yourself.
You've quite a treasure trove.
Yes.
Chess is not exactly my favorite game,
Okay.
so I would gladly lose a game to you.
You have to try. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have our own LES chess tournament someday, but I think maybe we should be getting back. And it's not that I don't love having you here, but we have so much to do and dragons to die to. Wait. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will say that Amos and D'Angelo, and anyone else who's interested in this, add chess to your character sheets as a new skill. Starting value is half of your int, and this way, with practice and success, you can in the future get better at chess.
Sure. You know what? Why not?
So half int as your starting value. That leaves some room for upwards movement.
Rounding up or down?
Rounding down.
Okay.
Always. Rounding up is for optimists. We don't do that.
That's on brand.
And have happiness.
Hey,
Only just enough to keep you hooked.
when I roll some damage and I then have to round it down, or some sanity loss or something, then you'll be appreciative. So yeah, is there anything else you wish to do the night, this evening? Is there any plans you want to make? Any preparations you want to do?
I would make sure I have my gun, plenty of ammo, my journal, and however, like if we were thinking this like a 3-day trip, I'd pack 6 pairs of clothes, that sort of thing. But that's it, nothing major.
Yeah, actually getting up there will take you less than a day. How long you spend up there is obviously dependent on
Week's worth of clothes. Gotcha.
I think Max would
So-
bring like a tent and stuff to, keep us warm in case we need to stay outside somewhere. I mean, there's probably villages in a day's march somewhere, but just in case.
Have my gun and my sword, as well as basic survival stuff in a bag and clothing.
But just how far in the country is this? I mean, is there a village anywhere close by that would offer?
So there is a nearby town of Ashby, which has a railway inn, a hotel you can stay at. The actual site of this incident, having looked at maps and seen where it is not too far outside of Ashby, sort of on the road leading to there. Is where the manor is. Yes, it seems that the survivor of this incident did make it to the edge of Ashby. It's a good running distance.
Do we know him about him that we could go interview him once we're there?
That is a good point. So I presume amongst your reading of the books, you did dig out that one news article from a couple of days ago. It's only a couple of days ago. There was a news article that covered this event very briefly in reporting the tragic death of a Mr. Vernon Underhill and others. Police still investigating, having spoken to the one survivor, Reverend John Green. The article didn't really give much details other than his name. A local reverend who survived the incident.
I think we ought to look for this once we get there.
Yeah, I think Mortimer will just pack his guns, medical bag, and just clothing, just basic stuff really, nothing really any out of the ordinary. Should be a short trip. Possibly travelling clothes rather than the sort of stuff he wears in the city.
Okay. Unless anyone else has anything else they wish to do, either the night before or the morning before, or at all before leaving London and setting out into the wilds of the East Midlands.
I think we'd probably look into travelling on an early train, so we've got plenty of daylight to talk to people more than likely, so probably an earlyish night for everyone, and whether we meet at the society or the train station, probably the society is probably the best place, and head from there.
Okay, in which case you get a night's sleep, and the next morning you reconvene at the society with your bags packed. Yes. However much luggage you're taking, however many rifles, like in their travelling cases. Up to you. Yeah, bags packed, you'll gather together.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Hopefully it won't be a long trip, but I'm sure there's an explanation for this.
Let's go and see if we can find it.
So we'll probably take the coach to the train station. more than likely.
Oh, Mortimer.
Yep.
When we get back, we do have to go over those books.
Which ones?
The accounting books.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Thinking of
noticed
other
you,
books.
you specifically, the amount of ink that you go through. Very suspicious.
Well, yes.
Yeah. John Greaves,
Yes.
I'm watching you. I haven't found any irregularities in your spending, but I know they're there.
It's the scones you have to watch out for.
Yes.
Those damn scones! The food of barbarians. Crumpets.
So by today, the rain has let off. Everywhere is still a bit damp from days of storms and rain, but it has finally stopped raining, and you make your way up to the train station and board the first morning train heading northeast. You've got a few hours as the train winds its way out of London and out into the countryside. You see as rows of brick terraces start to give way to farms and fields and the occasional factory. So you head out into the country. I don't know how often. I know D'Angelo likes to take regular breaks out in the greenery. I don't know how often the rest of you get out of the city.
I mean, regularly, at least for hunting.
Oh yeah. Maximilian, obviously, you can't hunt in the city. It goes badly.
I mean, you can. You're just gonna get a bit of a problem.
I think the last time Mortimer travelled outside London any sort of distance, it was Goatswood.
And for John, the only time he had been outside London is he was back in Oxford, so it was the trip between.
Okay, well, you're headed to the wilds of Leicestershire. And yes, as your train heads off out of the city, I think this is actually probably the best place to take our break, and we'll pick up with your arrival in Ashby in 10 minutes' time. See you then. And we are back. Well, most of us. So, it's around lunchtime, just before lunchtime, when the train pulls in to Ashby Station, specifically Ashby de la Zouche, to give it its full and properly impressive name. Yeah, it's not a huge town, but it has got a rather nice railway station with an attached hotel. And did you ring ahead at all, or give any indication of when you would be arriving? Or are you trying to get the drop on them?
I suspect we probably would have phoned in advance, but we probably would have tried to book a room somewhere as well, just on the off chance we ended up staying longer than we intended.
So you phoned the hotel? I rather meant, did you send any message to
Police.
the
The
police?
police? Oh, very
Or are
probably.
you... Pardon?
Very probably, I think.
In which
Just let them-
case,
We're professionals.
as the train pulls in, you can see a police officer standing on the platform, sort of watching the incoming train. You're not the only people getting off here. There's a couple of other passengers getting off. You see a family with some children unloading bags. A businessman in a very smart bowler hat. And the five of you.
We probably stand out a little bit.
Yes, the police officer sort of looks around. The porter's sort of helping you get your bags down. Rack of belongings. This police officer comes hurrying up to the group of you. Good morning. Good morning. Morning.
Right.
Are you
Yes.
from London? The
Yes.
Inspector Thorne said he was sending some experts.
The
Yes.
Esoteric Society.
Yes. Inspector Thorne, I believe, sent us ahead.
Oh, excellent. Good to meet you. My name's Sydney Johnson, local constable, local everything, local police force. I've got two working under me, but they're
Well,
part-timers,
pleasure to
beginners,
meet you.
really. They're learning the ropes.
Yeah, let's hope we can just sort this mystery out. It's probably something completely ordinary.
Oh, no. I assure you, this is not ordinary. I don't know
Well,
what's happened here, but it was decidedly not ordinary.
Well, we read the report that they had in London that you'd given them, but could you go over it, give us more details?
Oh,
about
yeah. Let's get your bags to you
Yes.
some rooms at the Railway Inn.
Yeah.
Get your bags dropped off there, and then I can walk you through all of this, explain all of this, and I pray to God that you have some answers.
Do you know if offhand if I believe his name was Reverend Green is in town?
Oh, poor fellow. Yes. Yes, he's the local doctor's taking care of him. He's had a bit of a shock.
And as a
his
witness-
heart nearly gave out.
As a witness, we'd be really valuable for us to talk.
Well, he's not making a whole lot of sense, but I hope he's not making a whole lot of sense. Yes. This way. Let's get your things to the hotel. Yes, anything else? Hotel. Take you to see the Reverend. Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about the manor that this was supposedly seen at, or that caused the destruction. You know anything about the?
Green Hill. I mean Drakesfell. Green Hill, Drakesfell, whatever we're calling it.
Do you have any contact with the fellow who owned it? Underwood, Bernard Underwood.
Not really. Businessman. Bought it about 10 years back. Not from round here, not local.
Any
He's
strange
seen down in
stories?
town a few times. Mostly kept himself to himself.
Any strange stories in the past 10 years after he arrived? The rumors and local people.
I mean, he was a bit of an odd fellow. Paid well. I knew some people who worked for him, staff. Mr. Stanley Johnson, nice to meet you. Local police officer. Sorry, I didn't see you there, sir. He offers his hand with the Angelo.
Nice to meet
Oh,
you.
yeah, I was just telling these gentlemen that we'll just drop the bags at the hotel and then I'll take you to meet our poor troubled reverend. Yes, where was I? Yes, Mr. Underwood. Bit an odd fellow. Was buying books. Yeah.
Do you know who he was buying them from?
All over, shipping them up from London, buying them down from Edinburgh, overseas even.
You know, do you happen to know if there was like specific specialty areas that the books were
I only know he was
about?
buying books because that cousin of mine used to work for him, used to fetch them up from the station when they were delivered.
I see.
I never got invited up to the manor.
Would mortal have heard of this guy, being that he's had an interest in books?
Make me
They've
make me a
contacted
credit rating
him.
roll. Let's see if you might have had some orders from him.
What role should I do?
Credit rating, that's what doubles for connections around these parts.
Does the police officer seem to be telling the truth, or is he attempting to obscure anything?
Give me a psychology roll. Mortimer, do you think you might have seen the name on an order once?
It may have been when I wasn't trading as such, so...
But or maybe he went into your shop at some point, but you couldn't name any books that he bought.
The name's familiar, but I've probably not remembered it.
No, like maybe you know it, but you don't remember anything you sold him in particular.
It's been a while. It's been a busy year with snake people and...
And it would have been years ago. You've definitely not seen him recently.
Oh, that's fair enough.
If you had seen him, it would have been like 6 years ago, so in a while. D'Angelo, he doesn't be lying as such as something there. Like you get the impression that the friendliness, the cheerfulness is not entirely genuine. He's trying to keep a smile on his face, but you're not sure it is. Yeah, it's not genuine.
I imagine our presence is not exactly the most welcome thing in the world.
It's great to have some proper experts up here. Yeah, someone who really knows what they're doing.
Sure. I am sure, but we will do our best to stay out of your way, in the way of the professionals.
No, you are the professionals. I'm really hoping for some answers here. Yeah, it would be great to know. Very good.
Are there other people on the platform or that are observing us? Are they looking at us strangely, or?
The people who got off the train have sort of moved off. They're sort of headed off into the town. The railway staff are sort of looking your direction. At least one of them is, but you mostly get the air of sort of curiosity. A large group of people is having a chat on the platform. Oh, what's going on over there? They're just nebbing in, but they're not like watching you intently.
Hey, Keeper.
Yes.
He keeps saying you're the experts and we're looking for answers. Can I do a psychology check to see if he actually thinks we're experts or wants us to find answers?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, success.
As far as you can tell, he seems troubled, but he seems to think generally, these are the experts up from London. Like, oh, thank God.
And he wants us to figure out what's going on?
It would seem so, yes.
Well, I guess the best thing we can do is drop up our stuff at the hotel and then get to the manor and take a look.
Didn't he want us to meet the Reverend first before we did that?
Up to you. I can take you to the manor. I can take you to the Reverend.
Whichever's closest, I think, first on the way to...
It's probably the Reverend then. I'm assuming that they're not having him piled at the manor.
Oh no, there's not much left of the manor.
Oh, well.
Right, bags dropped off, all sorted. Anything you want to take with you? You got it?
Got everything.
I'll keep the gun, just in case. Well, if there is if there's like large animals that can tear down a building, I'd rather have the gun with me.
Yes. Right. Lovely. And he leads you up to one of the houses in the town, like a very steady sort of stone-built building townhouse. Knocks on the door. The door is answered by a fairly elderly-looking gentleman, who he sort of greets as, Dr. Goodwin? These are some fellows up from London, looking into the situation. They wanted to speak to the Reverend.
Yeah, Dr. Mortimer Davenport, pleasure to meet you.
Anthony Goodwin. Pleasure's all mine.
Let's hope we can get some answers about what's going on here.
Yes, I would caution you to perhaps be a little go gently with him. He's had an awful fright. He's barely recovered. It's hard. It's not up to any stress or shocks.
Mr. Williams here is probably the best at talking to people about that sort of thing. Perhaps it's not the best idea we crowd him.
I'll do the best I can. Dr. Mortimer, if you could join me to keep an eye on his physical health, that might be
That's
ideal.
a good idea. Well, let's go and have a look.
Well, okay, Mr. Williams, Dr. Davenport, please. Follow me. And the doctor leads you upstairs to a bedroom on the second floor. Curtains over the windows, an old man propped up on pillows in the bed. He does not look well. He looks rather frail and ill, pale-faced, pinched and drawn. Everything about him just does not look in good health. And he sort of shrinks back slightly as the door opens. Just takes a steady breath.
Damn.
Reverend Green, these gentlemen here are... Just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about what happened, if that's not too much trouble. Gentlemen, would you like me to wait in here or outside?
Whatever you prefer, whatever you feel best.
Right, I'll be just outside. Call me if there's any trouble.
No problem at all.
And the doctor steps out into the hall, leaving you two alone with the Reverend. Looking at you with trepidation.
Oh. Pleasure to meet you, Reverend. Dr. Mortimer Davenport.
Yes.
Would you mind telling us your name?
Reverend John Green.
Meet you, Reverend. Would you be able to tell me what you have been up to?
Yes, sorry. John Green, not Greaves. Look, I didn't name him.
Duplicated himself. Thank you. His voice is angry. Would you...
Somewhere downstairs, John's like hair on the back of his neck
Yeah.
tickles. He feels he's almost being talked about. Anyway, yes, back upstairs with Mortimer and D'Angelo.
Would you be able to tell me... Yes. Would you be able to tell me what you have gotten up to so far today?
Today?
Yes.
Nothing really. to read a little earlier, but it's a little hard to focus.
What? Would you mind telling me what has been on your mind?
Well, the whatever that thing was. I mean,
We'll try not to worry too much about it, just to describe what you saw.
I am not entirely sure I know what I saw, or that I could trust my own mind. It was very dark. There was a storm.
Yeah, it's difficult
You-
to see things in the dark.
It was hard to be sure. We panicked a little, I think, in the dark. But
Would you mind starting from the beginning? What do you
yes.
remember first of the day?
Well, most of the day was fairly ordinary. It was the night that took a turn. A tree had come down on the line to Ashby, so the last station they'd put on a coach for us as a replacement. There was me and two other gentlemen, farmer and cobbler, shoemaker. It's a terrible thing that.
Do you remember their names?
No. But I remember the cobbler had something to do with fruit. Maybe.
See,
If the farmer was a young fella. Brave fella. No. I don't remember their names. That's the thing. What was the worst thing about this? With all that happened, it escapes my mind. But yes, we were in the carriage, and then something killed the driver. There were bits of him all over the road, and the horses had run off. It was raining, and we could hear something in the trees. So we went up the hill to the manor. It was almost like something was chasing us. We thought something was chasing us. Maybe something was chasing us. And the manor there was no one there. It was quiet. It was dark. They'd left the candles burning. So we looked for them. There was wine in the study, and then the dining hall. The roof was gone, and they were dead. All of them were dead. And we could hear sounds, the storm, and we went down to the kitchen, and then we lit a fire. We lit a fire to keep it away. Then it came through the fire. It came straight through the fire at us, and we ran, and then the manor was on fire, and
okay. Take a moment. Take a moment to steady your breathing.
Keeper, can I just do like a spot diagnosis just to get an idea of his health?
of his medicine roll.
Medicine, just not a proper examination,
Yeah,
just
you can give me a medicine.
just to make sure he's.
You can tell that he's not in good health. Like whatever's happened to him is taking a toll on him mentally and physically. Like he's not in good health.
He's probably quite old as well, so it would have been quite a shock.
Yeah, he's quite old. Well, not like he's in his 60s, you'd reckon.
Oh,
Not
ancient.
ancient. Look, I ran. I ran into the dark. I remember falling down the hill, and I barely stopped running until I got back to the town. And well, the doctor says that's when my heart gave out, almost. I thought I was going to die. I pulled through. Well, I'm still alive at the moment.
Is there anything in particular that you remember about this creature? Any features or something that stand out?
Look, I can't be sure there wasn't. I can't be sure there was a creature. There's no sane or godly explanation for what I thought I saw that night.
True. It was dark and stormy, so
Yes,
light can play in your imagination as well. It's difficult to tell what's true sometimes.
Indeed. You hear stories, you read things. Delusion, mass delusion, hallucination, tricks. It's like those hypnotists down in London that can make you think you've seen ghosts or whatever it is they do.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw that night kind of real. I know that I was in the coach, that was real. And the man burnt down, that was real. Whatever happened to those poor men, I don't know. But that creature was not real. It was not there.
Or hearing anything unusual?
It wasn't real. It wasn't there.
That's okay. Yes, we'll see what we can find at the manor and find out what happened. And thank you very much for your time, and hope you feel better soon.
Yes.
I'll return to my companions. Miss Williams, was there anything you wish to ask?
No, there is not much more. Probably better if you were to rest. If you recall anything else, please do make sure to note it.
Yes. Whilst the two of them are upstairs with the Reverend, was there anything the other three of you wanted to do in this time, or are you just waiting until they come downstairs?
Look around where we are, but I mean, not really much to do.
I mean, maybe get a drink.
Are there maybe any things we might see that he brought back from that night that he just left laying about?
I mean, downstairs is essentially sort of the doctor's sort of front room / sort of surgery consulting room.
Oh, okay. We're not at Reverend Green's.
No, it's not Reverend Green's house. This is the doctor's house. The police officers of Sydney is there. If there's anything you wanted to ask him about any of that.
I think while all of this is going on, I would go into the inn where we've had left our luggage.
So you're leaving the doctor's house. You're heading back down to the railway inn.
Yeah, and there's probably like a tavern with it.
There's also there's the railway inn, which is essentially like a hotel attached to the station for visitors to the town, for people traveling through. There's also a couple of pubs, like if you're looking for where people would drink.
Yeah, I'd probably get like a beer or two and just listen into the rumors.
I mean, it is currently not even lunchtime. It's a little quiet. There's not going to be many people at the pub.
I mean, then I'll just ask the barkeep. He'll know the rumors anyway.
But yeah, if you want to go to the pub, there's a couple of pubs to choose from. There is the ubiquitous Red Lion. There is the Duke's Arms, and there is the Green Dragon.
I need to go into the Green Dragon
Okay.
if I'm gonna get a beer, because those kind of ales there.
The Maximilian is off to the pub. Is anyone going with him?
I'm gonna stop stay there at the doctor's office and talk to the policeman for a few minutes. Then I might follow after him.
I'm gonna go to the Green Dragon.
Okay, so Max and Amos are heading to the Green Dragon. John is downstairs in the doctor's house. Mortimer and D'Angelo at this point are still finishing off talking to the Reverend upstairs. So, John, was there anything specific you wanted to ask the policeman, or just are you too happy making conversation?
Making conversation, but asking him if he, if there anything that he remembers for that night happening. Are there any other reports by townspeople?
I mean, it was the night of the storm. Big nasty storm. There was a lot of hassle because a tree had come down on the train line. So we were stuck with half a train, a lot of people trying to get out of Ashby, and we'd had a call that there was some gentlemen coming up from the next town. They hadn't been able to fit in there. And then they didn't turn up, and honestly, I didn't know anything about any of this until it must have been early hours of the morning when someone came running to say that there was a carriage abandoned on the road. So I went to take a look at that, and well, they really had undersold it. There was also like half a dead coachman on the road. No sign of the horses. They were found just yesterday, actually. They run halfway to Market Harbour. But oh yeah, what was I saying? Yes, a coach on the road. So that was quite the look. And then I was in a fire at the manor. One of the local farmers had seen it, so I went up there, and well, that's where I started finding all the bodies. Yes.
Bodies, could you tell what caused them to become bodies?
I have seen nothing like this. I have never seen anything like this. There was the first guy, the first gentleman, in the ditch outside, just half of him missing, just ripped and torn to shreds, and the fellow in the courtyard, his arm was gone, and then like half of his body, like it was. There is no rational explanation for any of this. There's nothing that I can imagine that could do that to a person.
Yeah, that seems really extreme. That nothing of the local wildlife could do that.
No. That's why I wrote a letter to London in the hope that somebody would know something about this, and that someone would be able to help the situation.
So, if anyone can help, we can, and we will get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, so it's about this point probably that if Mortimer and D'Angelo descend downstairs to find John talking to the police officer.
Oh, is he all right?
He is better. I do not think he will be of too much use, unfortunately. The event seemed to have seriously scarred his mind.
Like from the descriptions I've just been getting, I can see why.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to believe what he saw was real, and it's very difficult to get an actual explanation of him what he saw, because he's adamant it wasn't true, whatever he saw. And he's not in the best of health, so we didn't want to push him too much. We didn't want to have him panic or relive the incident. But
we may need to retrace his step, at least for as much as possible.
yes, we'll probably have to visit the manor and see what we can find out. I mean, Maximilian's a brilliant tracker. We should be able to get to the bottom of this and find out what really happened.
And I said to the officer, was the carriage brought back into town, or was it left on the road?
Oh no, it's in I think it's in Murphy Peters' barn at the moment. He had some space for it.
Okay. we might want to have a look at that tomorrow.
How recent did this attack happen?
3 nights ago.
Have the victims been buried already?
Well, what was left of them, yeah. I mean, there wasn't really much we could do for them.
No, that's true.
There was... but the doctor, Dr. Goodwin had a look over them. He was mystified as I am. He said it looked like some large creature must have attacked them. But there is nothing that large here.
That's a very good point. Unless someone's some sort of exotic pet, but then again, that you would notice if someone brought something like that here.
Look, I'm not a very well-travelled man, but is there anything in this world that could do that?
Alright, of course. Oversized reptiles are somewhat common throughout the world.
But anyway, that's what we are here to find out. So, shall we catch up with the other two gentlemen? Are they wandered off?
Oh, they did them go to the pub.
Ah, good idea. Pick up on local rumours and stories, perhaps.
Well, yeah, speaking of which, Amos and Maximilian, you arrive at the Green Dragon, which is the largest and sort of most central of the pubs in this part of Ashby. It's a solid stone built building. Looks, probably a couple of 100 years old at least. A sign at the front shows the image of a green dragon standing atop a hill.
Well, let's go in, get a couple of ales.
Yeah, so head in. It's solid oak build beamed room, good bar. There is a barman who seems to be in the process of tidying up and shuffling chairs around. Other than him, there is only one other person in here at this time of day, and that is a gentleman leant up a chair at one end of the bar with a pint in his hand, a rather large scraggly beard, and he watches you with suspicion as you enter.
I am going to quietly turn to Maximilian and say, Maximilian, my plan was to throw some money around and buy people drinks, but there's not a lot of people to buy drinks here.
It's early in the morning. It's early in the day. It's not going to be full until way later. But before we go out there, I'd rather need some alcohol in my blood.
Hey, if we're not doing enough day drinking, what are we doing as a country? Damn it. God, we've gone soft. Regardless.
Yeah, I'll walk up to the bar. And I'll ignore the staring guy on the side for now.
I am not going to ignore the staring guy, but let Maximilian.
And I'll order for Amos and myself, like an ale.
You don't know if taps have been invented yet, but shh, let's not get into that.
He will have it in some contraption.
It's either a
to fill
tiny
in
tap.
that.
I don't know who invented the full tap.
It will work somehow.
He fills you up your pints, gives you a price that's far cheaper than you pay in London.
I mean, duh, obviously. We're supposed to go out to the manor today. You wouldn't happen to know any rumors about the people that live there?
Oh, you mean old Mad Underwood? I mean...
Cops aren't...
You hear a mutter from the end of the bar, actually, as he said that. Which is...
Huh?
You hear a mutter from the end of the bar as he says that, which is, only you call it that.
What would you call it? A big house? I've not seen the place.
Oh, I was talking about Mr. Old Mad Underwood. Terry's trying to make it catch on as a name. The barman sort of raises his hands like, look. Crazy things have happened at his house. You can't just go around calling him Mr. Underwood.
Well, if I might ask, and as I pause, Keeper, I want to do 2 rolls at once. I want to do a psychology roll on the staring guy, and I want to try to use that roll to inform the charm roll that I want to make him like me, and maybe be more talkative.
Yeah, give me a psychology roll so I can get a read on bearded, scowling man.
Hard success.
You get the impression that he is A, not a very cheerful person. B, not a very sociable person. And C, doesn't have many friends.
Okay. That is very useful.
So how you use that to try and win him over, no doubt it will be hard.
Just buy the guy a beer. He'll be.
That was definitely going to be the next thing. As I order another round of drinks for the table, I make a comment. Listen, it's hard. It's hard to want to deal with people a lot of times. Like, quite frankly, the smiling people, the people who walk around and they want to be buddies with everybody, and they have all these friends. They're just not all that useful. You got to kind of stick with your own or stick by yourself. And I don't know. I'm only here for work. We have to go up there and figure things out. But what should we know? Is there any, there's rumors going around of all kinds of crazy things. Anything that we should know? Anything historically interesting? I'm trying to, show that I am like you.
It is still hard because you're still a grumpy so-and-so, but you have a bonus die because you're tapping into trying to be a fellow grumpy so-and-so.
All right. That's the purple dice, right, for charm?
Yes. Lucky bonus die. That is a hard success with the bonus die. So yeah, he doesn't look particularly happy still. Like, he looks at you like, oh, another one. We've had that's all people want to talk about at the moment is, oh, what happened at the manor? The manor burnt down. Oh no, everyone's dead. I don't give two drops what happened to what's his face up at the manor. Right?
Me either, but a job is a job. You know how it is. You got to earn your coin.
Oh, look,
Isn't it frustrating?
Fancy folk up at the manor, he burns his house down or whatever he's managed to do, and there's
know.
Police pouring over. You come up from, got a London accent, I hear.
Yeah, all that money and no good sense to go with it. He probably just dropped a lamp and set himself on fire, the dumb bastard.
Exactly. No one gives two shits about my sheep, do they? No. It's all about him. All about him. Eh?
It's all about the fancy man who burned his skin off because he's got 3 brain cells fighting for 5th place. I know, but
exactly.
You understand why I want to make this job in and out and get fuck off back to London. Is there anything you could do to
None of you city folk want to stick around here, no.
Well, I might buy some land out here. I want to retire from London. You've been there. It's just fucking awful. Everywhere is awful. Nothing is good.
I can't stand that place.
God, I even hate the clouds. Don't you just hate the fucking clouds?
The clouds are not clouds. It's all smoke.
Breathe
the air down there.
You can't even, and even if you could, the air was a person.
I've only been as far as Leicester. That was bad enough.
It's full of a bunch of assholes, if you know what I'm saying. I'm the nicest person from London, quite frankly.
If London's anything like Leicester, then I can't stand the place.
God, if air was a person, air would be a real prick. But is there anything you could do to help me out?
Look, if you want to know the gossip, you're gonna have to go to Terry there. He points to the barman. But look, I said I don't give 2 shits about it. I'm just here because well, what's a farmer to do when I got no sheep? guess just
Oh,
like,
your sheep been disappearing?
disappearing. They're dead. All of them
They-
are dead.
My God, what do you think's been happening?
I don't know. Something ate my sheep. I found like
S-
bits of them scattered across the field. I tried to
Well-
get the local police officer to get me interested. He's like, "What do you think? I think he thinks I'm trying to pull some
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
scam on
Heaven
him. I
for-
don't know what he thinks."
Heaven forbid he show up and actually do his damn job. Fucking, he'd fit right
exactly.
in fucking London. Tell you what, we're basically two esteemed, cordial gentlemen. I would like to make a credit rating to see if I could replace one or two of his sheep, because as much as I know that he's a prick, and it's also kind of like making me think about myself and maybe how I need to be a better person, I do feel bad for him that his livelihood
Give
is
me a credit
underway.
rating roll. See if you can afford to get this guy some new sheep
Yeah, I should have planned ahead and brought a lot of money. Let's see here.
or a lot of sheep.
Damn, I rolled a 95, so even though I have a 16 credit rating, I don't.
Yeah, you've not got enough like spare liquid at the moment to start like. Also, you're not even sure where you'd start to go about buying sheep or how much a sheep
I don't know.
costs.
I have no idea how much a
Like,
sheep
you're an
costs.
accountant, but you're mostly a city accountant. You haven't really dealt with many sheep.
This is true. Do I know, is there any way I could spend my accounting knowledge as a way to help him? Just creatively?
I mean, you could offer him like some accountancy advice. You could, like, you know, just give him some general sort of advice on how best to like deal with insurance on the sheep.
Okay. Can I make a roll for that?
Yeah,
To see
yeah.
how good it is?
Give you like, so sheep insurance advice roll. Otherwise known as
Alright.
accountancy.
All right. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It turns out you know nothing about
I'm
sheep.
gonna hold on. I would like to. I'm not gonna spend the luck. Can I push that roll?
Yes. I'm gonna say that the risk here is if you fail this roll again,
I'm gonna bankrupt him.
you're gonna give some terrible advice to Mr. Murphy, the sheep farmer, and
Oh God. I'm just ruined this man's life. I have an 89 in accounting. What have I done? I should have spent the one luck point and just helped the man. Okay, Keeper, can I role play how I just ruined this man's life?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is there's a very specific way you can do this without committing insurance fraud. But I fuck up the rule because I've probably been drinking. And then what I basically tell him is not only how to commit the fraud, but to obviously commit the fraud.
Yeah, I see that. I get that. Thank you. Yeah,
No,
slap you on the arm, like,
no,
yeah, you
no
know,
problem. I'd give you one of my business cards.
But that sounds like sound advice. Sound advice. Right?
It is. I understand. I have when you're. Yeah. No. I'm probably. You know. I get it. I get it. But now that I'd never steer you wrong. I'd give you a business card of mine, but I'm out. Not so damn much. Everything is so expensive these days. You know. Not like the good old days.
Well, these two are flirting over there.
I love them.
I'll be talking to the barkeep.
Yeah. So whilst Amos is discussing sheep with Mr. Murphy the farmer, you're speaking to Terry the barman.
Yeah, I was just curious. We're supposed to get up there, try to find out what happened, what actually happened. And I was thinking, what sort of folk were the guys that lived up there?
Oh, I could tell you plenty of stories. You see, my kids, Olive, my girl, and Owen, my boy, both worked up there.
No, did they?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. They're fine. So, guy who owns the place, Mr. Underwood, fancy fella, came all the way down from York, buying a place here. Was only interested in that man especially.
Did they were
Think
why?
like the aspect of it.
Okay.
little odd. I mean, he had a lot of money. He spent it quite freely. He gave me a lot some money to redo up this place. I even let him pick the name of the place.
So they picked
As a
the Green
reward.
Dragon as a name.
Oh yeah. It was the Black Swan before, but not a very exciting name. Also, I can't really paint swans.
And Dragon is
it looked more
obviously
like
more
a-
exciting.
Yeah, it kept coming out more like a duck. So I was looking for a new name anyway, and he wanted to call it the Dragon. My Oliver and Owen both worked up there, but they worked up there a couple of years. He did something in business. I don't know, moving money around, banking or something like that. But mostly used it to buy books and have weird dinner parties.
Weird? How a dinner party is weird?
Oh, the servants were always sent home, so all they do is to, like, prepare all the food, like leave it out in the kitchen to take it, and then the servants would go home for the night. Which is like, I've never had servants,
But usually
say
that's not the way this works.
If you're having people around for dinner, you don't send her home with your help. Like, if I was having people over, I'm not going to send the wife, round to her sisters. Like, God, that'd be an idiotic decision. Who's going to do the washing?
That is odd.
Yeah.
Do you know? Did they take a peek at the books that they got? Is there any like topic that's prevalent, or do you know something about that? Oh,
Don't think really. They never really mentioned much about the books. I mean, man was obsessed with dragons, obviously.
and now his house is incinerated by a dragon.
You've been listening to the
I mean,
that mad
people
police
saying,
officer.
right? I'm gonna see what's what when I'm there, but
Yeah. I mean, come on, pull the other one. A dragon. Look.
look, there's a lot of
Fellow.
things.
He'd be very glad to hear that if a dragon burned down his house. He'd probably be there going, "Oh yeah, hey, burned my house down."
I mean, yeah, I don't think that he's in a situation where he can, enjoy the fact of it, but
Well, yeah.
I guess that's his problem now. I'm just
He gives away there's like a couple of other people in this case. Mortimer, John, and D'Angelo arrive at the door of the pub.
oh hey.
Busy morning. These your friends?
Yeah. We're the group that's supposed to find out what actually is going on. There's, I've been traveling, the all the way down to Africa and stuff. There's plenty of creatures around that you wouldn't believe exist.
They got
Right.
dragons down in Africa, have they?
I mean, like, and I'm like dog-sized. The hand like this big of like lizards.
Ooh. Yeah.
Right? But they're not a dragon. I mean, some people call them that, but they're not like mythos, like the way the stories go, right? But if you don't know what you're seeing, right? And some rich dude imported something without anybody knowing, right? And then left its cage, right? And it's running around in the... That's something you need to take care of, right? That needs to go away.
Owen would have probably mentioned if the guy had bought like a giant African lizard.
I don't know. I just wanna make sure, right? I just wanna know all the weird quirks, the bits that might the oddities that might contain like hints on what the guys were up to up there. Right?
Look, hey,
So-
how about this? Murphy, you watch the bar for a sec. I'm gonna go grab Owen and Olive.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Right. I'll be right back. And no helping yourself to the drinks. I'm watching you. Well, I'm not watching you, but I'll know. And the barman hurries out, leaving.
If he helps himself to the drinks, I'm gonna put the money for the drinks on the table.
And Murphy, who's just getting to the end of his conversation with Amos, going, right, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
It seems like you've made some new friends.
Oh, yeah. This place is great. Named after a dragon.
Nice pub, good choice.
Yeah.
Good.
I've treated
say?
myself. I've had half a drink.
Half.
Very rarely drink, yeah.
Sound like you should drink more.
Well,
No,
we had been
chats.
discussing. We had been discussing following Reverend's footsteps to see if we can understand more about what he encountered.
Yeah.
Are you interested in joining us?
I mean, it's been 3 days. I'm not sure how much of tracks we still have.
True,
Yeah.
but there may be something that we'll notice that other people may have missed.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty wet. Well, we'll take a look. I mean, if we're lucky, we might still find something.
And the
Unless you wanted to wait for the gentleman the bartender was getting.
Yeah. His nieces? I already forgot again.
How much have you been drinking?
This one ale, not a lot.
Oh.
They were servants up there, and they when they had a festivity, when they had lunch, the servants would make the food and then leave. They would order a lot of books, and they would meet with people without the servants present. If that does not ring all the fire alarm bells, I don't know what does.
It does unfortunately remind me of an old incident I was investigating some time ago, where a noble had done much the same. He was involved with some strange cult, we'll say, and basically all the servants in the household were sent away before he invited everyone over to do with their strange cult activities.
However, do I know of any cults, either in this region or matching these descriptions that I've heard?
Also, keep
Ooh, make
a
me a cult roll, please. I don't know why I asked for a cult roll from D'Angelo, but I feel
you could fumble,
you could fumble.
but
Yes, D'Angelo, cults in the area. This is starting to come together in that you remember hearing a whisper of a secret society. Not anything ancient or anything like great mystical power, but you did hear a few mentions of a local sort of secret gentleman's society called the Order of St. George. They've been calling themselves. Apparently they were having little meetings. You did a little look into it, but it seemed like it's just yet another of those Victorian gentlemen's excuse to go around to someone's house and get drunk whilst they're claiming you're doing some kind of research. And it also, you kind of, if you're going to name your secret society, like, you could probably come up in one hand with like 5 other societies that use exactly the same name.
Possible you're dealing with the Order of St. George.
Wait, isn't that the Dragon Slayer guy?
Believe so.
Why would the dragon interested guy name his cult after, like, a Dragon Slayer? Oh, well.
It is not uncommon that people misunderstand or misremember figures from history. Possible he was wanted to borrow some legend or had gained something that he did not understand. Or he and his friends wanted to get drunk.
Exactly. some people look into things they shouldn't and make mistakes. Keeper, would I know of any mythos creatures that could be mistaken for a dragon or dragon-like? I haven't got any specific knowledge.
Cthulhu mythos roll, please.
I don't think I've got any specific knowledge.
I,
Stranger
Can I
things
help him?
happened.
I don't think he needs help on this, as he thinks about all the books he's read, and all the things that could be construed as draconic in nature. You have definitely read of, and I believe perhaps even seen, night gaunts that are winged creatures,
True.
haunt the dreamlands and the dark places of the night. You have come across something in the shadows and the darkness of that cellar where they were with the altar to the Black Pharaoh.
That's strange.
Something down there that could, in certain lights, have been described as like a dragon.
I think it was like a black serpentine armoured thing, remember?
Yes, but could that be? I mean, that could be said to be like a dragon.
True.
You have read of other creatures, strange things
What about
that
something
fly
that's
beneath
also
the stars.
fireproof? So you mentioned the resistance to fire.
Many things. I mean, many things that you have read about that talk about like stepping through flames or being lined by flames, or like you
But
get the idea that many of the things you've read about in the books and things like monsters and their kind
Could be,
would not be hugely bothered by someone setting fire to them.
so much for killing it with fire.
Yeah, there are many forms of things out there that could be described as like a dragon. In fact, you think you can the page of the book, there's an awful lot of things that look a bit like a dragon. If you look.
It's very true. So there could be a large number of possibilities, a large number of different things that it could be. Perhaps with a bit more information we can pin it down.
Well, I personally think that there's something obviously going on here, and I'm just going to be honest. I think it's a fucking dragon. I mean, that poor guy over there, all his sheep have been eaten. There's not too many things that are... Didn't make it sound like it was just one sheep here, two sheep here. It made it just sound like they fucking vanished in short order. Doesn't remind me of anything. I guess you could say, oh, it's wolves or wild dogs or whatever, but it seems to me that a lot of times things that could be explained away or rationalized away are the most obvious signs of whatever it is that we do, I suppose.
Is his farm near the manor? Oh, actually...
It wouldn't be wolves, now that I think about it. But whatever. Actually, hold on. Friend, could we walk around your farm? Investigate that by any chance?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to see. It's a farm without any sheep. I can take you to go and see where the sheep are.
All right, we'll get around to it. Where can I find you here? Get directions to your farmhouse.
Yeah, he gives you some directions, like
Okay.
go up the lane, out the town, turn left at the big tree. If you get to the ruined mill by the river, you've gone too far.
Okay.
If you get to a big
And,
burnt manor, you've gone completely the wrong way.
so far. And what was your first and last name, just for notation?
Murphy Peters.
Murphy Peters. Okay. I buy him another drink. On me, Mr. Peters.
Could be it's the same thing involved with both, so hopefully we solve this mystery.
I hadn't known better. The descriptions sound like one of the large serpents of the Amazon, but officially there are no serpents in Europe.
There are a couple of small snakes.
True. Grass snakes, adders, and a few more tropical things that there you go. But
before we
let's
set,
perhaps head towards the manor and see what we can find out.
before we set out, please, I was talking to say that the carriage that was first attacked is in one of the local farmers' barns. We think we should have a look at that. See if there's anything we can see.
We have a number of different. We could always split up and cover all of these at the same time.
I mean, I'd probably be best out on the manor, where we want to look, and on the we need the road to. Though I doubt that we'll find any proper. There's a path there. There's probably gonna be more carriages along that way in the last 3 days. So
let's go to the manor then. Please.
We bounced.
Okay. Are you waiting for the barkeep to come back with his
yeah,
children first? If any of you want to split off before that point, you are free to do so. Or if you all want to wait, that is fine by me.
I'm quite happy to head towards the manor now. It's still early-ish, I suppose, or perhaps even coming up to lunchtime.
Yeah, it's about lunchtime.
Could always.
we should probably talk about with the servants of that manor before we go there, just so we have an idea already what they've seen.
It does mean we'll have to have a drink whilst we wait.
I mean,
True.
I haven't said that the barman's not here, so.
what a tragic fate to have to drink another ale.
Yeah, I think we should just wait it out.
And Amos
Fair
can get
enough.
something to eat while we're here at the pub.
No scones.
But yeah, it's not long actually that the barman Terry comes back, leading a young woman and a young man, probably both early 20s at the oldest. They both bear a striking resemblance to each other and to him. They've all got the same sort of reddish brown hair. This is my son Owen. My daughter Olive. Owen, Olive. These little gentlemen I was talking about, it's come all the way up from London to hear about the manor, look into things. So, yeah. Go on, tell them what you told me. Go on.
Thank you for coming to talk to us, you two. I was just curious about any oddities in behavior you've witnessed during your time there.
Well, look, I've not worked at a big manor before. This is my first job at the big house. So I don't know rightly, sir, what was odd, sir, and what was just,
Rich folk.
yes, sir. Yeah. I mostly did cleaning, dusting, helped a bit in the kitchen. He wasn't there a lot of the time. He had another house up in York, in the city. He came down here for weekends. Mostly we just kept the house looked after when he wasn't there. And then we came, sometimes he brought friends. Gentlemen usually. They'd drink wine, talk. And sometimes we got sent home for the evening early, or got sent home entirely, and he said he was having like a private dinner party, and we weren't supposed to be there. And then we come up after and, clean up the plates and tidy up. That was what happened the other night when the manor caught fire. We'd been sent home, all of us. We left them some cheese and bits and bobs in case they needed a snack after dinner. And yeah, then we went home for the night. It wasn't until like the day after that I heard the place had burnt down. I keep wondering if... No, never mind.
If what?
No, nothing. It's She keeps like her brother sort of shouting. She's been fretting that she left a candle burning somewhere and accidentally burned the place down. I keep
Oh.
telling her that there's no, even if a candle had fallen down, it would take a lot more than that to take the whole manor down. I was supposed to put out the candles in the hall, and I just can't remember if I put the candles out in the hall.
Well, even if it wasn't out, usually candles burn down and then they go out.
See? Exactly what I said.
It's not uncommon to look for reasons or blame for things that are outside our control, I assure you. Is there anything that you can remember that has made you uncomfortable while in this state?
I mean, no, he was always a perfect gentleman. Never said anything, never did anything. His guests too, always very sort of polite, bookish sorts. There was like Rowan picks up. There was statue. Yeah. This weird stone statue. Wait, obviously it's stone, it's a statue. I guess you can make them out of metal. Anyway, weird stone statue that he had bought about a month back. Ugly thing. Massive ugly thing. I don't know where he wanted to put it. He didn't have much of a garden at the manor. I think he was talking about putting it in the dining room, but I'm not sure I'd want to eat my dinner with that thing watching me. So that's why we put it in the dining room and put a sheet over it for the time being until he came back.
How big was this statue?
Like
Small figurine type.
no, about the size of a cart horse.
Oh, that's
What did it
statue.
depict?
Oh, dragon, obviously. He was obsessed with dragons. Paintings of dragons, dragon door knockers. Yeah. Man loved dragons. What can I say? Yeah. Could have a hobby, I suppose.
Can you describe what it looked like exactly?
Like it had wings like a bat, like a snaky tail, and like a longish neck. And I don't know. I didn't like to look at it too much. I mean, I know they say that's paintings where the eyes following around the room. But that's this shouldn't happen with a statue. It didn't really even have eyes, but it just felt like it was watching you. And, yeah. I don't know why anyone would choose that as a statue. Ugly would put that.
There are many cultures who believe that to depict something is to steal its essence. Maybe that is what they were looking for, some sort of symbol for their
Maybe.
belief.
I don't know. I hated that thing. I mean, it should still be up there, right? It's a statue. It's doesn't burn.
Well, we'll see if we can find it when we go up there, and we'll look for ourselves. Does anybody of you have questions still?
Sounds like if the statue's up there, it should be easy to spot. It's not a small statue.
Yeah. Well, then thank you. Huh?
Sorry, one second. How long ago did the fire was 3 nights ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna go over to the farmer and say, did your sheep disappear about 3 nights ago?
2.
2 nights ago. Okay. I write that down. Thank you.
So, is there anything else? It's like sort of Owen and like Monty said, because we were gonna go over to the railway end. They said they're looking for more staff. We need to, we went to be talking to the owner there later. You know, seeing as our previous place of work burnt down.
Yeah, you go and do that, and I'll grab like a sizable tip for me. So basically pittances for the others, and give them that should tide you over in case it's not working out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Then
They head off.
yeah, then let's go to the manor, I guess, and see if we can find the statue and what the fuck these guys did there.
Agreed. And D'Angelo will unpiece bond his sword.
Unfortunately, with all the rain, any books or documents may have been damaged, seeing that the place was burnt down as well. It's a bit unfortunate.
Depends on how the rubble fell.
True, we could be lucky.
Okay, is everyone going up to the manor then?
Yeah, I don't think we should, with us now knowing that there's basically some eldritch creeper running around there, we should not go alone.
Okay. So yeah, would you like to go on your own, or would you like the police officer to guide you? Basically, he's happy to take you up there, but if you want to try and lose him along the way, or like head up there without him, you can also do that.
Are we going to stress out a police officer? Sure.
I think it's up to him, really. Would he want to, or?
Oh yeah, he's happy to take you up there. Yeah, I'll take you up there. It's fine.
I'll go
Doesn't
with
sound.
the majority.
He doesn't sound entirely enthusiastic.
No, it's my job. Yeah. Back to the manor. Let's go.
Does he seem genuinely keen on us? Would you let me do
Yeah, give me a psychology roll.
Not done this yet.
Genuinely keen on the manor or on you as people?
On travelling up with us to the manor. No, that's a fail. I know nothing.
Decide what you
I
want.
was gonna ask to do a psychology,
Yeah,
but if you
I'll
don't...
have another one. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
We're rolling well today.
Let's go. And
I ruin everything.
Yeah, in fact, he'll give you a lift there and sort of like a cart. Essentially, I've forgotten the word for them. It's partway between like a carriage and a cart, like a track sort of thing. It's a bit of a long walk from Ashby all the way up to the manor. Like, it would take you a while to run it, even if you were being chased by a dragon. So yeah, he gives you a lift up there. As he heads up on the road, he will point out, just up that way there is where we found the carriage. Wheels come off.
Are there any stories about caves up here at all? Caves.
Oh yeah. There's caves up in the woods and up in the hills, all sorts of caves. That's where they used to say that Black Anis hides up in there.
Well, could you lead me to the place where the carriage was attacked?
The carriage. Oh yeah, this way.
Just there might, if we're lucky, there's still something left even in that weather.
Yeah, as I said, we stuck the carriage in Farmer Peter's barn because he's got no sheep at the moment, so.
And that's fine.
Anywhere to put it.
I'm more interested in any tracks of the creature that did it.
I'm gonna say this will be hard, but give me a tracking roll. See if you can.
That is a hard success. I can even make this an extreme one if that helps.
Hard is enough here. It has rained a lot during and since the night when this happened. So as you look around, you can see that the wreckage has been cleared away. There is actually one left over like bit of timber that's been left by the side of the road. What you do see is some sort of hedgerow alongside the road, you see there's some snapped off here and there, some of the elder trees in it, like something large had come through that way. And there in sort of the soft, like the earth of like the verge rather than the road itself, is a large, like, four-toed, I think, footprint. The toad has returned. Pressed into the mud of the verge, that were deep enough to like crush plants and leave this really very large footprint in the. They are not human toes.
No.
no, that would be even worse.
So do they look like lizards
Yes.
from
yes.
a form?
So
right?
you know what you're looking for here. You know what you think this might be. This looks like a lizard's butt pressed into mud.
So if this was like a Komodo dragon, so I'm basically mentally scaling a Komodo dragon to the size that it would leave those footprints. And how big would that Komodo dragon get?
Probably pretty big.
20 feet, maybe?
All right. I'm gonna pull my gun
Maybe larger.
and I'm gonna make sure that it's loaded. And then I'm gonna wave the others over and point at that footprint.
No problem.
If that was a Komodo dragon, it would be about 20 feet long.
Are they normally that big?
No. No, they're not.
It's quite a big footprint, to be fair.
Does that, pardon the pun, does that scale with the size of the statue that was being described, do you think?
This would be a lot larger than the statue. The statue was the size of a cart horse, and the last time you checked, they were not 20 feet or more long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's my theory. That stone thing, that statue, was some summoning device.
I mean, if we're looking at, and I'm gonna point at the broken trees where the creature burst through, it's about that size. From here to there.
Does it look as if the footprint's heading towards the manor or away from the manor?
It's just a single footprint. It doesn't.
The direction, though.
Essentially, it was heading towards the road, probably from the direction of the manor.
So it could have been when it was heading towards the carriage.
Possibly.
Who knows? Well, let's have a look at the manor, see if we can find the statue. Or
Yeah.
anything that might give us any more clues. At least we have an idea that there's something here.
Let's go. Keep eyes out. Keep the eyes open.
Okay, you head up. Sydney leads you up to the manor. It's pausing on the way up to point out that there, just past that hedge, that's where we found the cobbler fellow. He poor, and Mr. Peach.
I'll go there and do the same thing. Try to find any tracks, anything. Whether maybe I find the same footprint. Maybe I find I don't know.
You can give me another roll and see. So, it took a bit of collecting to find all the bits of him. So, just be careful. As you're doing around, looking around the area, you find the ground there has been churned up. Something large and heavy has scraped and churned at the ground. There's some large rocks sort of just under the edge of the hedge. You find, like I said, the ground's churned up, human footprints. There's no clear footprints here, but you can see something large. It's broken through hedges, it's snapped to the ground. It's left its mark. What you do find, however, is what appears to be a human hand. As you sort of reach around and break through the undergrowth, your hand closes around this clammy, cold hand. Give me a sanity roll.
Great.
As you instantly reach back, his hand just drops from your hand and flops onto the ground.
You'd think I'd be used to that by now.
It's just more of a shock. Please deduct 1 point from your sanity.
Did you need a hand?
I'm gonna shoot you. Those.
Assuming we all see this hand as he.
Yes. Yeah. The shock's more for just reaching out and
Just fling it about. Whee!
flops dead onto the ground. This stiff, dead man's hand.
In that chaos of tracks, is there we have that dragon assumption. Is there a long groove at the end of those tracks?
It's not like a line of tracks. It's more like a fight took place here.
Okay.
This thing's got nasty here. There's even still some blood staining the stones.
Yeah. So because what I'm thinking, if something with lizard's feet was landing, and basically getting its back finger in first and then catching it, it would leave long lines.
Yeah, it's not clear enough in the grass and the mud to tell that much.
Okay. So I'm not certain about that. All right, we found a hand.
Well, I'll have a look at the hand and probably have to put it in some sort of bag. I'll have my medical bag with me, so I'll probably have something I can wrap it up and take so we can return it as evidence. Unless the police officer wants, unless the police constable wants to keep hold of it for evidence.
No, be my guest. I mean, what do I do with a hand?
I have no idea.
I had to do this fancy thing in Dundas where they get fingerprints, but it's a hand, so it's already got fingerprints. I don't really know how that works.
Is it normal sized or anything unusual about it?
It looks like a normal. You make me a medicine roll. I was going to say to examine this hand.
Extreme success.
Yes, obviously you need evidence. You've got to put the court case together to arrest the dragon.
I'm just trying to count whether the hand
this
was
looks to be, I said,
a
it
large
was
person or small.
a human's hand. Man, probably somewhere in his 40s or 50s. Clearly worked with his hands. There's a few calluses on there. Not like a heavy labourer. Someone who sort of was used to working with fairly delicate tools. An artist even.
I'll relay
Very
this.
dexterous, very nimble hands.
Yeah, I'll relay this to the constable. Do you have any idea who this might relate to?
Well, if it was found there, I'll have to check back with Dr. Goodwin if we did a full tally of hands on our dead cobbler. But
Do you think we should cobble them together?
But yeah, we'll return this to its rightful owner. Well, rest in place.
yes,
It'd be best to do that.
we did think we'd got most of him, but it was rather scattered.
It looks like it was a rather messy incident up here, anyhow.
Yeah, we found him what was left of him. There was I think they tried to make weapons of some sort. There was a cleaver on a mop handle, and the other fellow, the one in the yard, there was I don't know if it was a tea tray or something around his arm. It was
very strange.
Yeah.
It must have been pretty well.
They were afraid. Whatever happened here, they were terrified.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever works, whatever could potentially help.
I'll start wandering towards the manor and see if.
And he leads you up now to the manor proper, and you can see the way you're approaching sort of the main path sort of leads you up. You can see like there's a large sort of hall section of the manor, which the roof is completely caved in. The rest of the walls seem blackened and burnt. But like, there's one portion sort of to your right where there seems to be a main door. It seems to almost be more standing more than the rest, but the upper floors sort of burnt away. You see blackened windows of the kitchen sort of ahead of you. There's this little courtyard with stables and like outbuildings that don't look as burnt as the rest. Yeah, most of the devastation seems to be centered around sort of the kitchens and like the dining hall.
Do we want to stick together or explore in groups?
I think we should just spread out and cover more of the manor that way. And we
What? Oh, hell no. No! Think about that. We're hunting for a dragon that breathes fire and kills things. And we want to make it easier for it to kill us?
Okay, we could split ourselves up into small groups, or did you think stay together?
Stay together.
Well,
I have a family to live for.
Yeah, for one, Samus
Sounds
makes
fun.
sense.
I make sense all the damned time, you sassy librarian.
oh well.
No, we will be fine.
Yeah, it'd be okay. Let's have a look at the manor and see what we can find. See if we can.
We're not as unarmed and as desperate as the people there were.
Yes, we have guns. We should be okay. But just going to have a search of, ideally, probably where the dining room would have been, or what we believe it could have
Okay,
been.
so you're centering your search on what the dining hall would have been.
And to head towards where we think that might be.
And everyone's sticking together, or are you spreading out?
Oh,
and
yes.
having one round?
I think we'll do a search as we're heading towards it, but
Yeah.
Okay. As you approach, like the smell in the air is overwhelmingly the smell of burnt, sort of burning, like if you've ever sort of had a bonfire and then it's rained on it and you've got the kind of wet ashes, sort of burnt smell. It started to then stagnate a little. It's not a pleasant smell. There's a hint of like decay starting to set in there as well. You can definitely see where someone has cleared a path into the ruin, into the burnt dining hall. Like stones have been cleared away, burnt timbers have been moved to make an easy access path into the dining hall.
get the bodies out.
Yes. And as you come in, you can see that this room isn't incredibly badly burnt. Like the ceiling is completely sort of missing. There's a great hole where the ceiling should be, and there's puddles of water and mud across the floor. It doesn't look singed. It doesn't look like it was burnt down by a large fire. The space has sort of been, definitely someone has been through here. Someone has been clearing and shifting and moving things. Some of the broken timber stacked to one side.
Any sort of books lying around?
Not in this room, not in the dining hall.
This
You
one's
can
just
see there would have been like a stone pavered floor. You can see sort of a burnt looking doorway to one side leads into part of the building that's still sort of slightly standing more. And on the other side, whatever was on that end seems to have collapsed entirely.
No,
Yes.
no signs of that statue anywhere.
One thing that is definitely not in here is a cart house sized statue of a dragon. If anyone wants to do a better poke around, you can give me a spot hidden or any other kind of, if you're doing anything else in terms of searching or investigating, please let me know.
Just a spot hidden for me, just.
Yeah, I did one as well.
What hidden sounds like a plan, yeah.
Okay. Looking around, what all of you notice is, like, this place wasn't destroyed by a fire. This place was destroyed by something large crashing through the building. Like, this place didn't cave in while it's burning. This place, either before or after the fire, was destroyed by something large. You find in amongst, like, this place has been cleared, it has been tidied, but there are still blood stains on the timbers and on the floor, and like, you don't find any hands or remains of bodies, but there's blood spilled in it. Someone's like clearly mopped and scrubbed at these stones to clean the most of the blood off it. John, what you find in your search is interesting. You don't find, obviously, a large statue of a dragon. What you do find is towards the back of the wall is, cleared away sort of some timbers looking around, is it looks to be a stone plinth. About sort of perhaps 10 feet long, sturdily built.
The sort of plinth that one might expect a statue to be, having been previously
Yes.
set
Yes.
up. Okay.
And a soaked, ragged, and singed sheet.
Ah.
Like, scrunched up beside it, sort of things falling on top of it.
Guys, we were looking for a statue, but I think I found something that the statue was sitting on, or at least would be the right size for one.
All right. Hear me out. The dragon came back for a statue of itself because it's vain.
This might be a strange idea. What if the statue was the baby dragon of the larger one, and the larger one came through the roof to get it? Like,
I don't. Oh, yeah. I'm just throwing around ideas. I still think maybe they used it to summon the dragon.
perhaps they did by accident. Maybe it came to rescue its young. Who knows? But it's also strange that there's a lot of bits of body. So if there was a dragon as such or something, it didn't stop to eat the bodies. So it seemed to be more interested in killing them than actually feeding off them.
The sheep, maybe? Maybe it was full because of the sheep?
The sheep were 2 days ago, not 3 days ago.
I know. We don't know how long it's been around.
We don't know how many sheep he had.
Keep
Or
her.
was he sustaining losses even before 3 days ago?
Maybe, I don't
Keep
know. I worked
Yes,
hard to
D'Angelo,
make him
you
like
had,
me.
you had a question. I've also got what Maximilian finds in a minute. I've not forgotten.
What does the police constable look like at the moment? What are they doing?
He's sort of lingering at the edge of the hall, so sort of where the path has been cleared. He hasn't yet set foot back inside the hall. He's sort of lingering at the edge of it. He's kind of looking everywhere but into the hall. Like, his eyes mostly sort of fixed on his feet.
Does he seem afraid or like he's avoiding something?
You got a pretty good roll on him earlier, I believe.
You can roll again if you'd like.
You can roll again if you'd like, but you can definitely tell he is nervous. He's terrified. This place, like, he's trying his best to keep up a brave face and pretend that everything is fine and it's going to be fine, but this man is just terrified. Maximilian, you find, as the others have been able to examine the statue, is what looks to be a rain-sodden and severely damaged book.
Gonna pick it up.
All the water drips off it. It's not like a huge book. It's not very well bound. It seems to be a loose selection of pages. A couple of flutter out as you lift it up.
Yeah, I'm grabbing those two and I'm just holding them together with fingers, just trying not to put anything on any
It
writing.
looks very fragile and delicate, and it's been essentially sat in water for 3 days.
I'm gonna turn over, and I have a book person with me, so I'm gonna go over to Mr. Davenport and do your magic with this.
He
so
hands
you-
you this sodden pile of
Papers.
papers that barely resembles a book.
Okay, I will do my book restoration and magically repair it to brand new. What can I tell from it? I'm guessing the ink's ran and all sorts of stuff.
The ink has run. The pages.
Is it like parchment, paper, human skin, human flesh? You know, the usual things we pick up.
Give me. I believe you have like a book-related book binding book.
I don't know whether. Oh, actually,
I believe you must have a book-related skill.
I've got forgery skill. Would that do? Not quite. I mean, library use technically. Forgery maybe. Appraise, if I knew what it was. What do you reckon? To identify it, really.
I'd be appraised if you're trying to like study it as an object.
I'm trying to identify. If I go with library use to see if I can work out what it was.
Library use is more like for perusing, and this is not a library. This is just one book.
How about the forgery then? Because that's sort of book restoration.
No, I think appraisal is what you're looking
Okay,
for here.
I'll go with appraise. I'm not too bad with that. Success.
Yeah, it looks to have been some sort of almanac or grimoire of some sort. It's not got a title on it, and it doesn't seem to be hugely well organised. But also it is in terrible condition. You reckon it's probably sort of 15th century. Would have been pretty valuable if it hadn't been sat in a puddle. Luckily it is parchment, not paper, so it's not completely turned to mush, but the ink does not seem to have survived very well. So the pages are sort of stuck together. You would need some delicate care to have a look and read this properly.
So potentially I could probably recover a page or two if I was lucky.
Yeah, I'd say at least half of this is recoverable if you're careful, but yeah, in its current condition it's hard to make any sense of what this is.
I shall try and carefully wrap it up as using my expert forgery book recovery skills. I'll try to recover it without damaging it and just basically package it as carefully as I can with what I have with me.
Are there any identifying marks on the book in any way?
I can tell you it's 15th century. Some sort of almanac or old grimoire, but that's as much as I can tell at the moment. But if I get it to somewhere we can dry it off and try carefully, I could probably restore it. I do a lot of book restoration work and repair, so I don't think it will be able to recover the whole thing, but perhaps half of it if I was lucky. Maybe that'll give you.
Well, allow me to take a look at it. Might, on the off chance I can identify.
You can try, by all means.
Keeper, with my immense occult knowledge, could I make a stab at identifying what book this is?
Okay, so you're trying to see if it's like some kind of known sort of thing of local legend or
symbols, yeah.
Also,
Give me an occult roll.
famous books from myth.
you could use the information that I knew about it being 15th century as well, whether that'll help pin down his research.
Okay, give me an occult roll, please, as you peer at this wet book. Unfortunately, you cannot improve your occult. Even with that was a critical roll, your occult is currently as good as a cult can be.
You can't improve perfection.
Get any better at occult.
I have connected to the ancient libraries of the great beyond and know all.
This. No. Your first thought is joy at this, at finding something as legendary and as rare and as fabled as this, and the second is horror at realizing the state that this book is in. This is a book said to be lost to myth and legend. A book that people mention in other books as talking about looking at or having read or cited. This is the Grimoire of Black Annis, as it's known. A legendary sort of book of like occult knowledge. that was said to be written by either Black Anis herself, if she were to exist, or witches in her sort of service of worshipping her. Said to contain knowledges of sort of deep magics of English folklore, the magic of the hill and the earth and the land. But the writings you read about it barely seem to, like, they reference sort of this symbol in it, people sort of recording records of people who claim to have seen it, but is this it? Really now in your hands?
We must do whatever we can to restore this book. It is
Also
is
possibly
believed to.
older than 15th century, the original book. Like, the binding's 15th, but this is older.
This tome should be a lot older than the 15th century. It is of no lesser status than the Book of Arbonne. If myth is to be believed, it was penned by the very same witch who was said to live in these areas, or at least followers. If our gentlemen here had been using this for whatever it is they were attempting to do, it is entirely possible something foreign has been unleashed. And this book may be the only way we have to undo whatever they did.
Well, I could probably try and restore it. I have the tools at my home and shop, I suppose.
Well, can we dry it somehow at least before we, store it?
Carefully. Yeah. I'm assuming however I need to handle it, I can do that without.
I mean, there's enough wood there. I'm gonna go and make a fire.
I don't think we should do that just yet. Let's be careful with this and see what's the best way to handle this.
Sure.
So you believe this book could be the key to solving this puzzle?
I do.
What was the book called? You mentioned Black Anis.
What was the name again, Keeper? The Grimoire of Black
It's known
Anis?
as the Grimoire of Black Anis. Less as the title that the book itself would have had, and more as what people refer to it as.
That in my notes in advance. The book's true name is unknown by most, if not everyone, but its more common description is the Grimoire of Black Anis. I mean, we should be careful. Artifacts of magic have a tendency to draw those who seek them together. It is possible, if we restore it, and Black Anis or one of her devotees will seek us out, or even this creature.
Possibly, but I still find it strange about the statue being missing. And I think they used this book to do something with the statue, and then something else turned up. Perhaps they got the attention of something they really didn't want. So we could restore this, may have some answers, but hopefully whatever has caused this is gone.
Hopefully, indeed. And on that note of potential optimism, I'm afraid that is where we're going to have to wrap things up for tonight. As our 5 investigators and a terrified policeman stand in the rain-soaked burnt ruins of a manor, holding an extremely valuable and rare book, but with no dragon statue and no dragon yet in sight. We shall see how this goes next week as we continue in our adventures in Ashby. But until then, there are other exciting things going on. Other exciting things. Well, I know one of at least one, no, at least two other exciting things. First of all, Ree, I think there's something exciting on tomorrow, I presume?
First, later tonight, there is Chicago Hidden City, where I get to play a little Sombra
I
during
forgot about tonight.
Jan
Okay,
Peterson's.
even sooner. Yeah.
It's fun. We
Really
get to
exciting
be all vampire-y. But tomorrow over on my channel, Call of Cthulhu continues of Mask of Nyarlathotep, so you should go check that out if you really want to. And
check it
then I
again.
believe I won't. Then I believe Wednesday, Dark Ages continues. I think they're fighting some Inquisition and killing people, because vampires are not very nice people. And then I think Friday, the Queen's Gambit game continues.
Yeah, so that's
The
four
vampires are
exciting
doing
things.
their thing.
The
Yes.
Queen's Gambit, it's the vampire portion at the moment, and I believe, well, I know because I'm there. They're raiding Chantry, and we've just woken up the Gargoyle Guardian that is running down a corridor towards us.
Oh my gosh, I've not caught up from yesterday yet.
Yeah.
Like a whole week behind.
And also in 2 hours, I
Exciting.
think Junie Von Esch has a stream.
Oh, okay. There is a lot going
Hidden.
on.
That's the Chicago game.
Okay, that's in
Yes.
Chicago. Julie's game in Chicago tonight, tomorrow,
Yes.
Ree's game
Tonight.
called Cthulhu,
Mm.
Wednesday, Dark Ages, Friday, Vampire with the Queen's Gambit, and then
Oh,
Saturday
I was
we're
just
back here
gonna,
again.
yes, I was just going to add as well. Today is the 5th anniversary of the McStabber Twitch channel.
Yay.
Goodness.
5 years, yeah, they've been running it.
So happy 5th birthday to the Twitch channel. You can have a little cake.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go.
Or-
Yeah, a
Yes.
little scone with some candles on. Yeah, time flies by.
It does.
Yeah. Before you know it, you're like 90 odd sessions into a Call of Cthulhu game, or like whenever you do the tally of like how many years have I been doing this, and you're looking back and like I've got D&D games that are now like they're in their 4th year, and I'm like, how did it get to this? But yeah, lots of exciting things. If you're not already on the Discord, go to the Discord. This will be up on YouTube at some point, between now and never. Other games from the main sort of McStabber's stuff is up on their McStabber's YouTube, and
The Discord has all the information you could need about all the streams.
yes. Hey, like I remembered this week mostly that there was stuff going on. But that for me, that is excellent.
Alright.
I vaguely remembered what days some of these things were on as well. Like, come on, you can't ask for more.
You did fine. It was perfect.
But
Nothing to worry about.
other than that, everyone, have a wonderful week. Thank you for coming. Thank you to my players. And next week, this week was mostly, I think, investigation. Next week, I can't promise it will be as nice and relaxing. But we shall see.
Relaxing.
In a week's
I'm
time.
horrified. I'm
You'll do
horrified.
fine.
It will be fine.
You'll do fine.
Alright, good night.
Night.